Well, I guess I sourced my copy of An Offer from a Gentleman that I want to read for Bridgerton Season 4 at the right time, as I woke up this morning and planned to have a leisurely morning read of a short story or two to ease me into the workday, and instead, the minute I opened my eyes, I saw that news on Bridgerton Season 4 had dropped, namely the announcement of the release dates of Part 1 and 2, and a small little teaser. And so I want to kind of appease my curiosity for this or with this before I log in for my workday. And I think based on tradition that we need to view this together. So let's go ahead and watch this, kind of get initial reactions, maybe a quick little chat about it, as well as maybe a kind of game plan, kind of brainstorm. Again, I have not had coffee yet this morning, for what season 4 is going to look like, because we are officially entering the new social season. However, we do know, or I do anticipate, that a lot of season 4 won't be taking place during the social season because we have characters that can move outside of those bounds. So that is exciting. I am excited. Small caveat, I think there are some work trucks outside. So if you hear noises, that's what that is. Oh, I lost one of the gummies on my headphones. Oh no. That's okay. We'll just do one headphone. So, all right. Season 4 date announcement and about 44-second teaser. Shorter than that, as it's going to have all the landing pages at the end. So, let's go.
With each passing season, one is known to experience
Mask. I know I've seen it, but
and downs. So then we must ask ourselves, do we rise to the occasion?
hand guys.
As always, time.
Ooh, I like the dynamic of the upstairs downstairs with the Cinderella imagery, but also having Benedict further downstairs and having Sophie at the more upstairs position. Okay, that was even less of a kind of teaser than I anticipated. So I guess that's good. It's more kind of symbolic imagery. I assume all of this is more promo imagery than season imagery. I know we've gotten a decent amount of season imagery. So let's go ahead and skip ahead to the date announcement here. So January 29th is part 1. February 26th is part 2. So we are again doing the 2-part split. And as much as we have been very divided on that, I do unfortunately think the numbers supported that decision for Netflix in terms of keeping the conversation going and how buzzy the conversation was after part 1 of season 3, especially because part 1 of season 3 ended very well in terms of the kind of arc of that season and what fans were anticipating and expecting from that season. So, season 4, we've got our Cinderella story, which we are very much invoking in this imagery. I don't know if we're envisioning this as for people who have no familiarity with the book at this point. I don't know. I feel like we haven't really sat down and talked Bridgerton season 4, there go the trucks, since the kind of teaser at the beginning or on Valentine's Day. And so I have kind of tried to hold myself back, and I anticipated picking back up in the holiday season as we would get closer or be inching closer to season 4. I just didn't know how close. So very, very exciting that it's going to be at the very beginning of 2026, though of course I'm a little frantic right now thinking about all of this. I was going into this based on that Valentine's Day conversation, wondering if we were going to get more conversation about the kind of Midsummer Night's Dream invocations that it talked about, or that I think Jess talked about during the ball in that preview kind of event. I'm wondering if some of the imagery on the staircase is playing with that, but I also haven't paid a lot of attention to the staircases in previous seasons to know if that was embellishment that was already there. So we are obviously playing with the hand graze of it all. We're playing with the masquerade of it all, which we know based on that February event again, that the masquerade is going to be a majority of, I think, episode 1, they said. So they're not making us wait any longer for this masquerade, but that means there's going to be a lot of season around that as well, which makes me wonder where we might be ending or putting the divider for the season. Maybe after My Cottage. That could be a really interesting, depending on how we're structuring this season. Of course, this teaser is invoking the upstairs downstairs of it all. I will be very interested to see if we get further or a more kind of plot driven teaser, or if we won't get anything until the trailer, which would potentially make sense because they've already been kind of stringing us along. I think they've actually played the PR of this season pretty well considering the time involved, or like the in between, as I know we got teasers last fall. I know we got images right before I left for Tokyo, and then they've kind of been peppering or still kind of sprinkling things in throughout the year to keep interest up without like having us on high alert. And then of course we had the announcement that season 4 was coming a month or so ago at this point, maybe even less than that. And so while I didn't get my hopes up, and I was honestly kind of expecting another spring release, obviously they had other plans. Meet from the future, after I've acquired a copy, simply to say I also think it's notable, or want to make note of, the fact that we are hearing Lady Whistledown's voiceover in the Julie Andrews voice versus the Penelope voice, simply because in the books, while of course romancing Mr. Bridgerton comes after An Offer from a Gentleman, after that book, and I think even midway through that book, we lose the Lady Whistledown introductions to the chapters. We lose Lady Whistledown's voice once we know that that is Penelope. So I think it is notable that we are not only still getting the Lady Whistledown voiceover, but that we are returning to Lady Whistledown as this kind of separate entity from Penelope, even once she is announced as Lady Whistledown to all of the ton. So I know I said I want to focus on the couple right now, but I do think that that is an interesting stylistic choice that I'm definitely paying attention to. And I think it's also just become such a notable piece of the show, similar to the Gossip Girl voice, and, you know, playing in the realm of the Gossip Girl voice as well, obviously, since Gossip Girl itself was playing on the society gossip columns of this era of the Gilded Age, what have you. So I just find that interesting, and I'm going to be interested how that plays or comes into play in the season, especially with my theories that Penelope is going to be having an arc dealing with having kind of more autonomy over her voice, and how the queen may play into her voice now that this has been revealed and there are more stakes. Well, I mean, there's always been stakes. There are stakes related to her identity being in the open and her relationship with the queen in context or combination with what she's writing. So with that being said, we will surely kind of dive back into An Offer from a Gentleman this winter. So I will sit and do some thinking. I want to do a video kind of digging deeper into the book and talking about things that I hope to see in season 4, as well as I really enjoyed when we did the rereads for season 3. So if we want to do a reread for An Offer from a Gentleman together in preparation for season 4, I think that that could be a lot of fun. I'm excited, I'm intrigued. This teaser is giving me a little less than I thought we were gonna get in terms of everything, but again, it's kind of playing with the main imagery to expect. I'm intrigued by the idea of the dropped glove, obviously mirroring Cinderella's slipper, and if that is going to play into the season as well, especially if we're thinking about the revelation of Sophie as the Lady in Silver. We're gonna get our money's worth out of these masks, that's for dang sure. And again, yes, the staircase of it all. Also the idea that she's rising as he is going down, and the symbolism of that, especially in relation to her being in a power position, I really enjoy. We have this one, at least, clip from the ball itself in relation to kind of Sophie looking up in the mask, which we've seen before. Yeah, we can start getting excited now. I don't know that this, again, has enough for me to speculate too much in it, but I anticipate we will start getting little drips and trickles soon. So let me know what you're thinking of everything. The release date, it being split into 2 parts again, what this teaser invokes for you, what you think it's saying, if you like that it was a little bit more symbolic and kind of playing on the themes of the season rather than purely shots of the season itself, and how you are gearing up for Benophie and what you're excited about from Benophie's season. I am excited to see the main couple more than anything, and so I'm glad that the promo here is really focusing on them. And Sophie is one of my favorite Bridgerton heroines. And she really, for me, carries An Offer from a Gentleman. And so I'm really, really excited to get to know her as well as the rest of her family and the Cinderella of it all. And yeah, we will see what we're going to get. We will revisit An Offer from a Gentleman. We will talk more about Bridgerton season 4. I still have this midsummer imagery and the kernel of that really stuck in my head. So we'll see if that pays off to the extent that I have hoped for since that February Valentine's Day event. But we will see. Either way, we're going to be getting The Masquerade, and we will not have to wait that much longer. It'll be a nice little belated holiday present for all of us. So let me know what you're thinking, and we will be diving back into the world of Bridgerton very, very soon.